Political participation and trust in institutions are two phenomena that concern many disciplines, so it's become essential to analyze them, both from a theoretical and a more practical point of view. This study first aims to provide a new quantitative key to the two different phenomena of political participation and trust in institutions. For this reason, two different indices will be constructed, following an innovative non-aggregative methodology. Once the indices have been obtained, the reason will be sought in recent economic and social phenomena. The case analyzed will be the Italian regions. In fact, the Italian case is emblematic in that it is historically characterized by a wide territorial gap between the northern regions, which are highly developed economically and socially, and southern regions, with low economic levels and with wide social inequalities. Defining political participation is not easy, as it's a phenomenon full of different facets. However, in this study, we will mainly refer to Pasquino definition given in this slide. This definition encapsulates the two basic semantic valence of participatory phenomenon: taking part in a particular act or process with the aim of influencing the choices of those in power, and being a part of a body, group, or community. Political participation is a multidimensional phenomenon that is expressed through different forms of involvement. In fact, one can participate in the political life in different ways, directly or indirectly. Directly by going, for example, in a conference or supporting financially a party, or indirect by talking about politics, informing oneself about politics, or listening to political debates. In this study, both of these forms will be analyzed. A second distinction is that inherent in conventional and unconventional form of participation. To distinguish between the two forms, one must see whether or not there is adherence in participatory behavior to the legal and social norms of a given political system. In this study, only conventional forms of participation will be analyzed. To define trust in institution, it's first necessary to focus on trust in general terms. Trust is, in fact, an evaluation that a rational actor makes in deciding to place a bet. Because of its nature, it's regarded as a subcategory of risk, and it's therefore calculated by applying a probability theory. Thus, an individual will trust a given institution based on the probability that it will be performed its mandate satisfactorily, and not below a predetermined critical threshold. Three indicators will be used to analyze trust in institutions. They analyze the degree of trust expressed by citizens toward major institutions, parliament, parties, and other institutions such as the fire department or police.
Given the complex and multidimensional nature of political participation and institutional trust, it is possible to approach their study through the construction of synthetic indices. In contrast to the recent literature, we decided to employ an innovative non-aggregative method, such as partially ordered set or poset. From a theoretical point of view, a partially ordered set can be defined as a set in which there is no binary relationship between all pairs of profiles, Italian regions in our case. It is represented graphically through a diagram, which is supplemented by the introduction of an embedded scale, whereby a benchmark can be defined for the interpretation of dominance relationship between profiles. The index is then summarized using the average technique, which provides a score from the average ranking of each region. The results obtained from the construction of political participation index are presented below. Thanks to the S diagram, it is possible to determine the dominance relation between profiles, indicating as best those regions that are above the Italian average, and to establish through chain system the comparability between the participation patterns of the different regions. Specifically, comparable profiles are defined when there is a descending path connecting them along the diagram. The positioning on the same level, on the other hand, express a non-comparability in the participation modality between two or more regions. According to the score given by the average I, it is possible to reconstruct a ranking which shows, in the case of political participation, a relationship between geographical affiliation and the level of participation, which tend to decrease the further moves towards southern Italy. As far as the index of trust in institutions is concerned, it is noted that with respect to political participation, belonging to a specific or geographical macroarea is not decisive with respect to the ranking. It should also be pointed out how, compared to the previous case, the regions between the median and the third quartile are much more numerous, with only Liguria being in the range expressing a high level of trust in institutions. Focusing on the result for the region of Liguria, it can be observed that despite the fact that the literature disproves a correlation between the phenomenon of political participation and trust in institutions, it is placed first in both rankings. For this reason, we have decided to focus our intervention on the Ligurian case, in order to investigate which main factor may have influenced performance in the individual dimensions. In particular, as shown on the screen, the region presents values above the national average or coinciding with the maximum benchmark in all the elementary indicators that make up in the two indices. One of the most influential drivers of the two indices is the COVID-19, which started in the first half of 2020 and had a strong impact on both the level of political participation and trust in institutions. With respect to the individual dimensions, significant results are observed for political participation as a consequence of the constant real-time updating of the lockdown policies against the pandemic. For trust in institutions, on the other hand, a central role was played by organisms like civil protection and healthcare. 2020 was also an important year for Liguria, as it was the year of the inauguration of the new San Giorgio Bridge. The event linked to the collapse of the Morandi Bridge had a strong impact on the dimension linked to trust in institutions, which has emerged from the existing literature tend to increase in correspondence with catastrophic events, natural or otherwise. Finally, an important role can be attributed to the regional election held in September 2020. Despite the fact that they were held in the midst of a health emergency, 53.42% of the population took part in the vote, leading to a 3% increase in voter participation across Liguria compared to the previous election.
This study confirms the complexity of a participatory phenomenon and trust in institutions. In particular, it shows that only in the case of political participation is there a partial confirmation of the territorial divide present within the Italian peninsula. Moreover, the Ligurian case emerged as a peculiar case study for analyze how events in a given year can influence social phenomena, such as political involvement and trust. It might be interesting to replicate this study in another context other than Italy to consolidate or refute the results obtained.